Demos edgy Osmosis Jones remake. But jokes aside, I have actually found out quite a bit about the game from poking around the demo's game files, and I have quite a few theories about the game that I'd like to discuss with you. So I'll be going over the things I've learned in the files, some of the things I've discovered playing through the game myself, some of the differences between the demo and the gameplay trailer, just a whole lot. It should be quite interesting. So first thing I want to talk about, which isn't major or anything, just something a little bit nifty, is that it's actually impossible to kill yourself with this. So, where exactly are we in this game? According to the game files, there's two environments for the demo: crater tunnels and a bait assembly. A bait means to make something less, or according to Google here, verb of something perceived as hostile, threatening, or negative, become less intense or widespread. Sorry about that, I was reading a different monitor. So everything here, I assume, takes place in some sort of crater, and the function of this area was an assembly, perhaps to make something less or shrink something down. Here's actually a secret or a little fun thing I found in another video. And when you go over to the creature it flew off from, you'll have a really sort of weird animation, because the game already made the head thing float away, so it doesn't really know what to do with the creature itself. But what is that creature? What the hell are these things called? Well, in the game files, the four-legged guys, ones that walk around and shoot at you, are called bears. I'm not even joking, that's what they're called. I have no idea what the wildlife in Serbia is like, but apparently these are bears. Also, if you walk up to them while they're sleeping, they will not at all engage with you. They are committed to the illusion of sleeping. And the reason I know this is because some of the files describe bear chains and bear pipes, which are when a bunch of these guys are linked together, as we'll later see. And the thing that really tipped me off was an animation for crawling out of a hole, which is what one of them does here when you get the shotgun in there. And speaking of in here, this fucker is called the worm. And it has a fairly substantial range of effect. It's not even based on its line of sight, as I previously thought, but just the general area. I've tried to run past it and see if I can collect the shotgun, which, yes, it's called the shotgun in the game files, but it'll kill you even if you can. So what about this guy? Which I now know how to incapacitate it without killing it. Kiwi. That's what it's called. And in the game files, there's apparently an animation for it to charge at you when when threatened. Even though in the demo it's always stationary, and in the gameplay trailer we've only seen it walk. Oh, and by the way, this is called the handgun. And if you want to see something kind of funny, go into a well-lit area, look straight down, and reload. Illusion is a bit lost when he's just pulling these bullets from thin air. The bullets, by the way, are just called ammo, nothing substantial or anything. This thing here is the key press, and this is a console. And the difference between the demo and the gameplay trailer that I found, back here in the trailer, this area was lit up and had some sort of ambient fog, but you could actually look down and see what's below there. While here in the demo, it's pretty clearly quite dark and you can't see a damn thing. You saw on the screen that in the beginning of the video that some stuff was changed in order to avoid spoilers or give you a completely new experience. So it's interesting that of all the things they decided to alter, this was one of them. This seemingly innocuous little bit back here. What could you see down there that was so substantial? Another difference in the gameplay trailer and the demo is that above this light, like directly above it, there was some extra piece there and a light beside it and a few wires running to those lights. You see how there's wires between these ones? There were extra ones running up to that thing. So apparently this machine in the full game is going to have some kind of additional use. Oh, I'm a fucking dumbass. I forgot to put the stone key in. You guys are probably yelling at the screen while I was rambling on about shit that ultimately doesn't matter. That's an easy fix. Up this door and just do things as we normally would in the wacky world of Scorn. This is called a lift, by the way, and if I can just bitch for a moment, I hate the fact that you're unable to see that the worm, as it turns out, not the ceiling penis, is within one of these lifts. Because the game seems like the thing that rewards you for being mindful of your environment. If you pay attention, you can notice that the bears are not actually dead, but sleeping, and see that they move around a little bit. So you can take a shot at them, and it's a one-hit kill when they're pretending to be dead. But for the worm here, it ruins your vision, and it just makes you all woozy and mess up your ability to move. So you're unable to see that this is a lift, so that when you're up in that room, you can say, alright, when I press this button, it will probably bring up a horrible ceiling penis thing. I better be ready to move away. These things are called the shotgun stand, and this is apparently the shotgun charger. Now, over here I'm going to show you a fun glitch. One of the bears actually clips through the wall partially. So there's it rising out of the hole, like I mentioned. You saw it clipping through there? And it rising out of the hole is an animation that it can't recreate. It won't go down no matter how much you push it. Oh, now that's just immersion breaking. They're still around. So what about all this bullshit here? I called it the red weed because it kind of looks like the red weed from War of the Worlds. Close. The red web. Shot it in the back, and yet it still died in 2 hits. Thanks, Pally. I've been trying to figure out what these guys here are called. By the way, I think these are either the bear chains or the bear pipes. It depends on whether they're hooked to one thing and then hooked to another, or if they're just dangling down, as we'll later see over there. But anyways, I was trying to figure out what these guys are, and the only thing I've been able to figure out is that they're just called heads. Because the bears here have a bunch of animations and textures for things involving their heads getting damaged, their heads moving around. But then there's like Scorn Game / NPC / heads, just heads, which I guess makes sense. Those are basically floating heads for those guys. See, that would be like a bear chain. Lighting than I see usually in the game here. Just strictly right here, probably because of this light. So that's like, you know, them dangling down without being attached to anything. Then this guy goes down. What the fuck? I didn't even know about this glitch. Like, is there actually someone here? Yeah, there's apparently someone here. You can see on the ground where it fell. It was supposed to fall. You just ruined, like, something I wanted to point out, asshole. Anyways, can we see, this little, glitch thing over here? Good grief, it's just... see, there's another either bear chain or bear pipe swinging around. And there's a guy that it flew off of. And eventually the blood will splurt out. Hey, a second now. Come on, Pally. There we go. Now, what I wanted to say until this rude fucker decided not to exist is that the devs have made it a point to say that creatures will react in various different ways depending on what you do and what other creatures do. And actually, if you shoot this guy, another bear will pop out of there and start to attack you. So you can actually avoid a fight by not being a colossal asshole. It would be your instinct to shoot him, considering all the other ones are immediately hostile to you. So I hope that's like just a small bit that's indicative of a much larger trend in the game where you have as much of an option to avoid a fight as you do to have to fight, because this demo, the devs have said, is a quote more aggressive than the rest of the game. I think this is as far over as you can possibly get, and no, you can't plummet to your death, unfortunately. Alright, here's another glitch I found when fucking around in the game. And you know, there's always more apparently. There's a Kiwi over here that if you shoot with a shotgun when heading from this direction, the area here will be inaccessible. I'm trying my best. Also, can we please appreciate the fact that Scorn Guy here, or as the game files calls him, Scorn Character, looks like he has a turtleneck sweater. I should reload this. It needs polishing. Also, just something fun and stupid I found. This is how his character jitters here. Something stupid. Anyways, let's go back around because there's actually one little theory I want to mention. Oh, here's actually something to talk about. So we have the shotgun and we have the handgun here. Are there any other weapons? According to the game files, yes. There is apparently a grenade launcher with bouncy and sticky grenades, but no animations for it. There's going to be a stun gun, which, as far as I can tell, and let me just say right now, I'm just some random asshole digging around with no real idea of what half this stuff means. I have zero experience with game coding or probing this stuff. But from what I can tell, the stun gun is going to be an asset for the shotgun and the handgun, and that's because it has various animations related to the shotgun and handgun, like handgun holster with the stun gun, shotgun aim with the stun gun. So it might be some sort of attachment you have on it, or maybe Scorn Guy here will dual wield a shotgun and handgun. Or not shotgun and handgun, a stun gun and handgun. Also in the game files are assets for an ammo apparatus, which I assume is what gets you more ammunition, a health station, and one other thing, a save station. So some things people were bitching about when playing the demo, you know, how do I get more ammo? Is there a way to get more health? Why the fuck is it that when I die, I go straight back to the beginning? Where's a save station? Well, apparently those will be in this area, the abate assembly or the crater tunnels. Maybe there's one down there, and that's why it's inaccessible. After all, this thing here seems to be working as a light on. Trying to see if I can possibly shoot one of the bears from over here, because that's where the end is. There's one right around there, and one right down there. Yeah, those are the most interesting things I've been able to find. Here's a fun little thing. Watch the gameplay trailer and by the button that raises the bridge, if you look quickly, you'll see that part of the floor is missing in that area. There's just a little bit missing, and you can see the whatever hell, just pure yellow light coming from below it. They fixed that in a demo, but let's see, where is it? Oh, it's here. In fact, I saw it when I was here last. Here we go. Right there. Literally unplayable. And there's also some more over there that I'll show later. Alright, one final thing with this area, because I'm sure you're getting tired of me standing around looking at these guys. The devs have posted concept art, and one of them was of, in the teaser trailer or reveal trailer, there was this thing inside some translucent pod. It was sort of this red film covering it. It had its eyes closed, had a really mean looking mouth. Well, the devs have posted concept art of it where it was dead, it was out of its pod, and the top of its head was ripped off. And the concept art was a GIF of it decomposing. And rather than decompose like creatures do here on Earth, where their flesh... Did you see that glitch there? Their flesh sort of breaks away and deteriorates, and then just sort of goes down to a skeleton. Creatures in this world seem to break up into this mesh-like structure that's just barely recognizable as the thing they were when alive. And this not only happens to the pod thing, but I also think it happens to the Scorn character, as evident by the cover, for lack of a basic term, where he sort of crouched down in a suffering fetal position. If you look closely, he's sort of hollowed out. So these guys here must have died here a while back, as evident by how this corpse does not recognize it, does not look like that one, resemble that one. And I think when they die, they spread around this red web. I said that I've talked about all the interesting things I found in the game files, but that's actually wrong. There's a few more. The game files describe some sort of heart, which I think is either an item or perhaps some major part of the environment, like that huge sort of spherical structure with all the pipes coming from it in the reveal trailer. See you later, bear. And the game files mention it, I think, deteriorating or outright exploding. Also in the game files are assets like a fuse box which you can open and close, holding on to the fuses, leaving the fuses in the environment itself. And also, interestingly enough, I did not... See, he went through the door. Come on, mate. It mentions Moldman, and if you don't know who Moldman is, the devs originally put this game on Kickstarter before the Kickstarter we all know and got the demo from, and it was a resounding failure. But in the trailer for the Kickstarter, the original one, there was this creature who was sort of scrunched up in this just this molded form. It looked like it was suffering. It had its arms and leg hanging out. And someone asked on the current Kickstarter if it would return, and the developer said, I quote, "Oh, that thing? No." And yet, Moldman appears in the game files, including just his hand. Alright, here's another spot where you can just sort of barely see cracks in the world. Oh, this one's the most evident. I don't know if it'll turn up on YouTube. There's one here, here, here. And I know it, let's see, so now that we know the official names of all of these creatures, and apparently how fucky things are in Serbia, that's what they call a bear. We technically got an official name for our guy here. It's just a lot of information. Anyone up for a game of soccer? Well, this one has its light on too, so it might not be anything special. So yeah, that's some of the interesting things I found out when poking through the game files. So I'm like really curious as to what else there might be. At least we have a vague idea of what this place was for and where we are exactly inside some giant crater. A lot of the files were just for all the different stuff you find on the walls, which if you looked around playing through the game, there are just a ton of stuff. Weird machines and devices and all sorts of stuff that has no real purpose to it. And nothing in the files concerning all of this stuff really stood out to me. It was just like mesh, grill, pipe, tubing. Anyways, those are some secrets and stuff found poking around in game files. I hope you learned something today and I've otherwise entertained you. At least we have an idea of what might be coming in the future. Anyways, thanks for watching and take care.